Hello and welcome to our pre-game, pre-battle strategy for week 1 of the playoffs of the PGBL. I am SweetBananaGaming, coach of your Orlando Solgaleo, and I honestly, with the start we had to this season, I did not expect to be here in the playoffs today. But here we are. The way playoffs are going to be run, basically, it's a single elimination, effectively, where we're split into Eastern and Western conferences, and so the top 4 from each conference are in the playoffs. And so with the first round, we'll pair off against each other, and then the 2 that are victorious move on to the next round, and we battle each other to see who is essentially champion of our respective conference. And then, if you win that battle, we make it to the final round to see who is champion of the entire PGBL League, Pokemon Global Battle League. But anyway, so if we want to keep going, we have to win this battle, and so our week 1 of the playoffs match brings us right back to where we started. Some deja vu here. Against our first opponent in this league, the Kentucky Typhlosions, coached by MrChabry. And if you remember, I floundered a bit and had a pretty bad loss. Not the worst loss of the season by any means, but a pretty bad loss. But hey, we've got a new team now, and I've got a new strategy. I think my team, the makeup of my team now, fares much better against MrChabry's team this time around. So with that, let's get to it. First, of course, our good old Mega Tyranitar, which does wonders against most of the big threats on MrChabry's team. Stone Edge does huge damage to Dragonite. If Dragonite's multi-scale is broken, or if he gets any funny ideas about bringing the Inner Focus set to throw off Mimi, my Ambipom, Stone Edge will OHKO, which is good because if we hit, we don't have to deal with any weakness policy stuff like what happened in the last match. Dragonite will have to be not at full HP, of course, for the multi-scale to be broken, which if we have Stealth Rocks up, which I'll get to in a moment, that will be doable. But potentially OHKO the Dragonite. I can 2-shot the Mandibuzz, OHKO the Roserade, 2-shot the Tauros. And when I say 2-shot, I mean like in range that a crit will take it out. The Mandibuzz, if it's a high roll and a crit, I could take it out in 1 shot. So Mega Tyranitar here, very much of a threat against this team. Not to mention Earthquake. If I'm unboosted, Earthquake does up to like 96% to an Alolan Muck, so a crit will definitely take it out. If I'm +1 from Dragon Dance, I will definitely take it out. I can OHKO Bastiodon, but of course Bastiodon is sturdy, so this sturdy would have to be broken. But I could do enough damage to get rid of all of its HP, basically, is how that works. And then of course, I have Fire Punch, which completely unboosted, OHKO's the Roserade, but I would rather be boosted. I'd rather be +1 speed so that I can definitely outspeed it, because Roserade can do a lot of damage to Mega Tyranitar, even with the sand up. If it's running Leaf Storm, it can 1-shot me. If it's not running Leaf Storm, if it's running Giga Drain, it can still do a good amount of damage to me. So I'd rather have a situation where I can boost first. One situation would be to boost against the Mandibuzz. I know the Mandibuzz can carry Foul Play, but even with the damage it would do on Foul Play, it wouldn't matter, because I'd be boosted +1. I could basically sweep the entire team. If he doesn't have anything, if he brings nothing that's Scarfed, 1 Dragon Dance allows me to outspeed his entire team. He's got a mostly slow team, with Tauros being the one thing over base 100, and even then Typhlosion being the other base 100. Typhlosion's a little scary. Even at base 100 speed, it's a little scary based on the team I brought, but you'll see if I'm +1, that, again, it's not an issue at all. And I take out the Typhlosion with ease. And if I'm +1, I pretty much take out most of this team with ease. Alright, Fire Punch, if the Scizor is a bulky set, the Mega Scizor, I don't quite 1-shot it. I get it within crit range, but I don't 1-shot it, which I have to be careful about. I would only want to attack this thing unboosted if I'm at full HP on the Tyranitar. If not, I would probably switch out. I mean, I have to think about that. If the Scizor is at full and I'm not boosted, I would probably switch out. Maybe. And it's hard to say, because I definitely have to preserve Tyranitar, because it's my only really good answer for Scizor. But it depends on the investment. Again, I'm calking for a bulky set. If it's not a bulky set, Fire Punch takes it out. But again, if I'm +1, I take out everything. And if I have enough health, if I have a decent amount of health, I can live a Bullet Punch. I think Bullet Punch is a 2-shot, so if I'm over 50% health, if I'm a little over 50% health, I should be okay. So it's gonna come down, even though Tyranitar has the potential to sweep the entire team. I mean, you have a scenario where I lead Tyranitar against, I don't know, the Mandibuzz. I could sweep the entire team at that point. But that is not a risk I'd be willing to take. Because last time he led with the Scizor. And I'm not sure that I'd want to, I mean, I could just open up with a Fire Punch, maybe. But I don't think I'd want to do that. Besides, I need to get my rocks up, which I'll get to that in a moment. So, well, anyway, the Tyranitar set, you know it, you love it. Now, Landorus here. Always the versatile one, this Landorus. Not running Choice Scarf this time around. I'm running Groundium Z. It gives me a nuke to one-shot things. Like, I can one-shot the Tauros. I mean, Tauros isn't all that defensive. I can one-shot the Tauros. I need to calc how much I can do to Hariyama with it. Because Hariyama's another one where I only have a few answers. Actually, I might as well calc what it does to Mega Scizor, because Mega Scizor is pretty defensive and everything, but having that nuke as an option could be good. Let me do that real quick here. I know I try to keep these things as brief as I can, but you know, sometimes I just gotta look. I was just looking at how much Tectonic Rage does to Alolan Muck. It does 200% of its HP. Alright, let's go to Hariyama. Mega Scizor. So I was gonna say, I'm not too concerned about Hariyama because I don't know if he'll bring it or not. I'm almost certain he'll bring the Mega Scizor. So on a bulky set, Tectonic Rage still only does up to 70%. That's not as much as I'd like. With that being said, it's still good. I can, not having anything that can do a huge amount of damage to the Scizor aside from my Tyranitar there, I think it's an okay option. Just to get a lot of damage on it. If Z, Earthquake, whatever, Tectonic Rage is a little bit overkill on most of these mons, but it would just be a good, like, last-ditch effort against the Scizor. So, now, a note about Smackdown versus Stone Edge. Smackdown, basically, because I have 3 Pokemon on my team with Earthquake. Tyranitar, Landorus, and Donphan. And I've got a couple of ground immunities. I've got the Mandibuzz and the Dragonite. And just having that as an option, I mean, I guess in theory I could Stone Edge for a lot of damage on the Mandibuzz, but really Tyranitar can do that. Tyranitar can take care of that. So Smackdown is to kind of get it on the ground, and then I can do a Stab Earthquake, or maybe force a switch. But it would make me safe to Earth. If I have one or the other, if I'm facing one or the other of Dragonite or Mandibuzz, and I use Smackdown, whether he switches or not, I just go Earthquake for damage. It just to leave them more vulnerable, kind of throw them off. Probably, I don't think he would expect that. I'm a little nervous not running Stone Edge. I might, well no, I can't get rid of Knockoff because it's a transfer move. I don't want to go through that. But I might swap out, I don't know if I might swap out U-Turn. I don't necessarily want to. Oh, you know, Smackdown does like up to a quarter of Dragonite's health if it's got the multi-scale. And then I can set up for Earthquake, I don't know. Earthquake, by the way, Earthquake naturally does not Z, regular Earthquake, one-shots Typhlosion and Alolan Muck. I think it probably, no, I think I just miss taking out the Tauros, but a Tectonic Rage does one-shot it. What else was I looking at? Okay, U-turn is a clean 2-shot, potentially in crit range against the Claydol. And then knockoff, if Claydol has a Culberberry, knockoff does up to like 50%, and if not a Culberberry, it could one-shot. I forget exactly how the calcs work. If Culberberry halves the damage or makes it 2/3. But I can do good damage there. I can do more than half to Jellicent. So I have some options. But that's what I'm running. I mean, I'm going a little bit, I'm a little bit not necessarily totally convinced on this Landorus set, but the other thing Landorus could be good for is a switch in to get Intimidate on the Scizor and on the Dragonite if they decide to start boosting and getting any funny ideas. So that is that. Next I have Michelin the Donphan, and I'm a little bit back and forth also on the set on this thing. Ice Shard could be good as a way to hit my opponents that I can't hit otherwise. Dragonite and Mandibuzz. But again, if you remember my first match against MrChabry, that Ice Shard is what triggered the weakness policy on Dragonite that pretty much, well, I was probably going to lose that match anyway, but it pretty much sealed the deal on that. So, I'll have to scout before using it. Get the Dragonite in range. Get it in range for Mimi to be able to take it out with Fake Out. Pretty much. And but the main reason Donphan is here is for Stealth Rock. To try, I know last time he brought 2 Defoggers, so it's going to be a challenge to keep the rocks up. But I do have to get the rocks up, try to get the rocks up before the Dragonite comes out, and just keep him there. You know what? This is why I kind of want to run Roar instead of Ice Shard, even instead of Rapid Spin, because even though he has many potential hazard setters, he didn't bring any rocks or anything in our last match, and that was when I was running a Charizard, which you would think, with all these pretty potentially good rock setters, that he would have brought at least one, that he would have set rocks at least once, but he didn't. So I could be safe to get rid of Rapid Spin, maybe, for Roar, so I could have Roar and Ice Shard, but I don't know. Because a strategy might be, unless he leads Scizor, but another strategy might be, get the rocks up and just roar, try to roar until Dragonite comes out. There could be many flaws with that, but it could potentially work. If I got lucky and get Dragonite come out the first time, then I'm pretty much set. Donphan has done its job. Ice Shard, without multi-skill, Ice Shard can do up to 60% to the Dragonite, which I'll get to Mimi in a moment here, but if I break, if rocks come in, I break the multi-skill, that's like a quarter of health. I do another 60% with Ice Shard. It's almost taken out at that point. If he weakness policy boosts or boosts any which way, I just have to send Mimi in and Fake Out, and it does more than enough to take it out. So I think that could be a good strategy. So I might put Roar instead of Rapid Spin. I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to Sir Akihiro, my advisor, about it, my strategic advisor. I like to throw ideas off of him. But anyway, we have here, returning, the Master, the Beast, the Destroyer, Paul the Slowbro. She is, I am very convinced, the only reason that we qualified to be in the playoffs. If you didn't watch the last match, go ahead and watch it, because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched it. Just, Paul is low-key Ubers. That is all I have to say. Same set, Physical Wall. Physical Wall knowing that I can Calm Mind boost, but the Physical Wall is because a lot of his threats are mostly physical. He could run Special Dragonite, but Scizor, physical. Dragonite, potentially physical. Swampert, physical. The only big threat that, well, there's Roserade and Typhlosion. I wouldn't stay in against Roserade unless I'm already boosted +2 or more, probably, and then go in with a Psyshock. I might stay in on Typhlosion, but anyway, those are the 2 main things that I would have to be specially boosted to go against. So Physical Wall is probably doing pretty well here. Same moveset, you know the drill. Paul is just, Paul goes without saying how awesome Paul is. Just Can we just all... We're not worthy to be in Paul's presence. She's just too good. Man, Paul, go watch Week 10 battle. My goodness. Alright, next we have Mimi, who did not have such a hot time in the Week 10 battle. That was mostly my fault, but Paul avenged her, it's okay. So we're running the same moveset that we ran last week, though. The good news, well, if anybody watched my video, they knew I was packing low kick. But if not, low kick has still not made an appearance in battle, so they might not be expecting it. Low kick, basically there to hit things that I can't normally hit. The Bastiodon, I can hit the Tauros, but it's just something else to do more damage to the Tauros. Or, I need to check if Smackdown gets rid of the flying type. When it knocks, I don't think it does, but if it did, that would be kind of cool, because then low kick would be doing super effective damage. Low kick and U-turn would be doing super effective damage to the man buzz. But anyway, low kick's there. It can kind of hit the Scizor. Did I do my calcs for that? It does it is about 30% to Scizor. It's not a lot, but it's something. It's more than anything else that Mimi has is going to do to Scizor. So there is that. Okay, so Fake Out, listen to these numbers for Fake Out. 38 to 46% damage to Tauros, 44 to 53.5% damage to Typhlosion, 17.4 to 21% to Dragonite with multiscale, 34.9 to 42.1% without multiscale, 33.4% to 40.5% to Alolan Muck. This is, like, unless the Dragonite has Inner Focus, these are all free hits. I have to keep in mind, of course, he could switch in the Jellicent if he brings it. He could switch in the Bastiodon to tank it, but then I just low kick it, so really that works out well for me anyway. He could send out the Mega Scizor to eat it, but still, any little chip damage I can get on the Mega Scizor is good, because it puts it in range to be taken out by an unboosted Fire Punch. So it's a win-win, kind of. But this Mimi is going to be pretty key in taking it. Well, it's key in one fact. It's the only thing I am bringing that naturally outspeeds the Tauros, so there's that. It is the only thing that I'm bringing that naturally outspeeds the Typhlosion. Maui will be speed tied with Typhlosion, but it's the only thing that naturally outspeeds Typhlosion, and unless it's packing Quick Attack, which wouldn't do that much damage, I can, again, well, he could be Scarfed. I don't want to make the same mistake and make the assumption that I made with Black Kyurem, but if he's not Scarfed, I just Fake Out Double Hit. Yep, I just Fake Out Double Hit. I mean, Double Hit alone does up to 93% to the Typhlosion. Double Hit by itself. So Fake Out Double Hit should be fine. But yeah, I don't want to make the mistake. On the other hand, I can't really risk scouting the Typhlosion, because I know he likes to carry Z Sunny Day on his. And Z Sunny Day, if I am remembering this correctly, it raises all of its stats by 1 stage. And then the sun is out. So he'll be doing such crazy damage with Eruption, or even just with Flamethrower, from being +1 and in the sun. And it'll be +1 speed, so then it'll definitely outspeed Mimi. So I definitely, no matter what, even if I think it's Scarfed, I have to Fake Out first, because that kind of neuters Eruption if it's carrying it. I mean, Eruption's based on how much HP it has. If Sunny Day is up, it'll still do a lot, and if it's +1. But if I can get it, like, how much does Fake Out do again? It can do more than half, potentially, on a higher end roll. So, Eruption's power will be basically cut in half as well. So, I think it's a risk that I have to take. I think it's worth, I at least have to get the Fake Out on it. If he stays in, I guess that should be my cue that maybe it's Scarfed. But then again, I don't know, because this is where the head games get real. He could stay in thinking that I won't stay in myself, and then, you know, he could, you know, it's a bit of a mind game at that point. But hopefully I'll have a way to scout But I think with Typhlosion, I can't risk scouting, because again, he likes that Z Sunny Day. Unless, the only way I'll know is if earlier in the game, if I know he uses a Z move on somebody else. I think that's the only way I can know for sure. But I'll have to see. On paper, with no Scarf, Mimi easily 1v1s Typhlosion. Mimi 1v1s Alolan Muck pretty well. I can do between 30 and 40% to Alolan Muck with the Fake Out. And then with Double Hit, I can do, well, let me put it this way. If I get a high roll on both, which again is not necessarily likely, but if I do get a high roll on both, I take out the Alolan Muck with Fake Out and Double Hit. And I doubt Alolan Muck would be Scarfed. I mean, you never know, but I doubt Alolan Muck would be Scarfed. And even if it was, I don't think it would outspeed, and its priority Shadow Sneak does not affect me because I'm a normal type, so I think I have a pretty good set against it. I didn't write down how much U-turn does to it, but that could be another option as well. I could do neutral damage to it. Yeah, so unless Typhlosion's Scarfed, I 1v1 it pretty well, and I 1v1 the Muck pretty well. Depending on what item is running, if he's running a berry, then that puts me in a little bit more of a sticky situation, but generally speaking, I 1v1 pretty well, depending on what set he brings. The only thing I have to be careful is because I'm not running knockoff, I don't hit Jellicent very well. So if Jellicent is around, I have to be a little choosier with my Fake Outs. I probably, in most cases, especially since I'm naturally faster than everything, unless I think something's Scarfed, I'm just gonna U-turn until Jellicent's gone. Anyway, did I get... Oh yeah, I haven't talked about Shaman yet. That's what it is. But real quick before I finish off, Double Hit is just going to do a lot of damage. If Dragonite's multi-scale is already broken, I do 62.6 to 74.6% to the Dragonite, depending on its spread, but assuming it's an offensive spread with little to no defensive investment, I do so much damage to it. If it's not Inner Focus, if it's multi-scale and not Inner Focus, I Fake Out, Double Hit for the win on it. It could Extreme Speed me. I think unboosted I might be able to live one. Maybe? But I think I'd be okay. Well, we'll see. I'll calc that out if the time comes. But I can at least fake it out for a lot of damage. I do have to be wary about Extreme Speed and Dragon Dance boosts and all of that, which is again why I'm debating bringing Roar back on Donphan, but I still have to think about it. Okay, are we done here with, well, the only other thing is that U-turn is a 2-shot on Claydol on Mimi. So that's about it for Mimi, though. Same set that I brought last week. Hopefully she fares a little bit better this time around. Alright, and last but not least, we have Maui the Shaman, bringing him back to say you're welcome, because hopefully he's going to help us out in this match. Seed Flower Synthesis, Earth Power, Dazzling Gleam. Pretty much the same set you've seen with Life Orb. Seed Flare... Just listen to this OHKO list. Swampert, Jellicent, Claydol, Tauros. Again, none of them are really the biggest threats on his team, but it's nice to know that I have enough power, and I outspeed all of those. I have enough power to one-shot all of them. So, and these are Pokemon, Swampert, Jellicent, Claydol, Tauros. These are Pokemon that generally the rest of the team that I'm bringing does not necessarily fare so well against, especially Swampert and Jellicent. So... Maui's here to kind of check that. They can't just be in for free and wall my other Pokemon, because Maui's here. Maui's taking care of business. Also, Maui is a good switch into the Jellicent in case it's running Will-O-Wisp, like it does sometimes. If it's running Will-O-Wisp and burns me, no big deal. I just switch out in Natural Cure. Anything else? Oh, Earth Power on the highest possible roll. I one-shot the Typhlosion, but I have to keep in mind, we are speed tied, so if he's boosted, it's definitely over. This is part of why I was considering bringing Web. It seems so silly, though, because I don't really need Web for 90% of his team, but just for the Typhlosion, mainly. And the Tauros, but mainly for the Typhlosion, to counteract if it's running Z Sunny Day. But... I don't know. I think, I have to be careful, basically. I could only Earth Power if I make a bold prediction, like... It'd have to be in on the Jellicent, maybe, and he switches in to absorb a Seed Flare and I Earth Power instead. That would probably have to be the scenario. Let's see. Alolan Muck, if it's Assault Vested, which is common, but, I mean, it could be a berry, but if it's Assault Vested, I do 30 to 36%. Not that big, but if it's not Assault Vested, it's in, two-shot range. So that's just worth keeping in mind, because Alolan Muck just walls way too many things, but I think I brought plenty of answers for Alolan Muck as far as super effective damage goes. Which is why Smackdown will be nice to kind of play games with those ground immunities. Anyway, Dazzling Gleam does 30.7 to 36.1% to Dragonite with multiscale, 2-hit KO to Dragonite without multiscale. Again, I must be aware of that weakness policy, but all I have to do, really, is get Dragonite within KO range for Fake Out. That is pretty much all I have to do. I'm pretty sure that Extreme Speed does not outspeed Fake Out. That would be kind of nasty if it did. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Like, it has the highest priority. Well, you know what? So I don't sound stupid and someone in the comments doesn't, like, yell at me and then say, I told you so when it happens to me, I'm just gonna check. Pokemon... Extreme Speed... Priority. I've never been good with how priority work. Priority +2. So what is Fake Out? Fake Out is priority +3. That should mean it outspeeds. What's this asterisk though? In generations 1 or 3 through 4. What's the priority in Gen 6 and 7? From Fake Out now has +3 oh, Fake Out had +1 in generations 3 and 4. Okay, it's +3 now. Let's see. All right, so that should mean that it moves ahead of Extreme Speed. So I should be okay with that. So all I have to do is have Mimi alive and get Dragonite in Fake Out range. Which, if its HP is lowered, that means it has to be like 30 to 40% HP. Which isn't impossible. Dazzling Gleam alone could get it there if it already has rock damage on it. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Well, Dazzling Gleam is an answer to Hariyama. If the Hariyama is carrying Assault Vest, it's going to be more difficult, but I can still do up to 39% to it. It potentially has a pretty good chance to two-shot the Mandibuzz if it's not a special wall, if it's not, like, super specially invested. So that's about it, I guess. Yeah, again, Shaman is basically here to take care of things that most of the rest of my team would have trouble with, or be walled by, or, you know, otherwise threatened by. But that's about it. That's my team. I looked, it seems like just a minute ago, I was at 18, 19 minutes, and now I'm at almost 30 minutes. So I'm gonna close things off right here. If you're excited for this first playoff match, you want to support your Orlando Solgaleo in the playoffs, go ahead and hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment below showing your Orlando Solgaleo pride. I'm gonna get out of here, but I will see you next time for the first playoff match of the PGBL Season 1, your Orlando Solgaleo versus the Kentucky Typhlosions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you then.